Hello and good morning. I'm Angela Brown, and I'm here today on this Live with Impact episode with Omuugn. I know, super excited. We are talking about emotions from the Live with Impact series, which is the insights and wisdom of Omuugn. This is volume one. You said many people react because they're fueling the energy of the moment with more energy. So if there's a negative emotion and they're just approaching it with conflict, it's like a fire. They've just added fuel to it, and now it's even bigger. Do you have any suggestions for people that in a reactive state, their normal go to is to fuel those fires with more negative energy?
The first step is to become aware. If you're not aware of your behavior, if you're just acting impulsively, reacting to your emotions, then you're not going to mature emotionally. For example, some people have an anger management problem. That's the way their belief system is. That's the habit that they have formed. If they don't become aware that's the way they respond to things, then they will just continue to do that and the maturation will never take place. So, awareness is the first key. You have to want to be a better person. You have to want to work on your traits and characteristics so that you become the best version of yourself. If you don't identify those areas in your life, then you don't know what to work on. The reason that I wrote the books is because I realized that we were not a singularity, but we were a compilation of a lot of different traits and characteristics. And sometimes we don't take the time to look at each one and say, how am I in this area? If you take something like communication, there's really a proper way to communicate. The same thing with our emotion. We know how our emotions should be, putting energy into something or evaluating the feedback from that decision that we've made. If we learn those principles, it puts us in a different place. I didn't use examples in my book because I wanted the person reading the book to use their own life. You would use your own life as all of the examples. And if we were to do that, then one principle, one characteristic at a time, you would become a better person.
I know, for example, in 1994, I decided I was going to deal with my own anger management. I grew up with no anger issues. And it wasn't until I fell in love with the wrong guy, then he and I fought all the time. And I'd never fought before. He taught me how to fight. I was yelling and unkind. I had a moment where I misbehaved. And I realized that I had the capacity to be really mean and unkind. I decided in that moment, I don't prefer that. I don't want to live like that. And I had this fantastical wonder. I wonder if I can go 1 year without getting upset. So I promised myself I'm going to go for 1 year and I'm not going to get upset. I'm not going to argue with anyone for 1 year. Get ready, get set, go. I'm not going to get emotionally involved. But I had, like you said, people fuel these fires with extra energy. I had all this extra energy. So I learned to put on a pair of jogging shoes and I would get out the door and I would go run and I would run as hard as fast as I could to try to burn off that energy without directing it at another human. I could burn off all of that on the pavement and not take it out on another human. It did not happen in an organic sort of way. It was a conscious decision. It was a conscious anger management choice. It was the
Yeah,
longest year of my life.
we really should touch on, and that is how our emotions relate to our health. A lot of the emotional reactions that we have are chemical reactions. And so you get into the area of nutrition and making certain that you have all of the minerals and the vitamins that your body needs under certain situations. Like if we're under stress, our body is going to produce cortisol or adrenaline. Those chemicals are designed to help us react properly in certain situations. But if our life is just full of stress, those things are really forerunners of chronic illness. And so there's an aspect of our lives that we should really be concerned about our diet, our nutrition, to make certain that we are putting the building blocks into our physical construct so that we feel well. We're going to be irritable or emotionally unstable if we don't take care of ourselves.
I love this. This is the insights and wisdom of Omuugn. This is volume one of two volumes. So if you haven't already, pick up your copy. Thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you, Omuugn, for sharing with us your insights and your wisdom. Until we see you again, please live a life of impact.
Thank you.